what's up guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, then welcome to our little corner of the internet. Today I got mind blown because we're watching a video titled Why the DC area is so rich it's poor, which first of all, how can you even be so rich that you're poor? What does this mean? And second of all, apparently Washington is not in Washington state. What? Anyways guys, let's see why the DC area is so rich it's poor.
This is Washington, D.C., the nation's capital, a compact city located along the Potomac, just 30 miles from the Chesapeake Bay. First written into the U.S. Constitution as a district not to exceed 10 miles, Washington uniquely isn't a state, nor is it part of one. No, it's a federally administered district, where the federal administration itself is headquartered, functioning mostly as a consolidated county-city entity. With 680,000 residents, Washington has nearly endless economic power, capable of fueling.
Wait, so Washington is not inside any state? Is that what it's saying? What do you mean?
The prosperous Beltway region that runs off of it, despite DC being considerably smaller than the Beltway portions of Maryland and Virginia. By the way, the DC Beltway is a 64-mile auxiliary highway that runs off the capital city and through Maryland and Virginia, not an economic region. That would be the DMV, which stands for the District of Columbia, Maryland, and Virginia. Though with the Beltway's role in connecting commuters and tourists through some of the nation's most powerful economic engines, it and the DMV have come to be used almost interchangeably. As being home to America itself, the place where its decisions are made and its money is spent provides some lucrative advantages that radiate all across it. Of course, it isn't all sunshine and rainbows for the Washington DMV. Being an economic powerhouse has made not just the city itself, but counties as far away as eastern West Virginia abnormally expensive, as the fiscal opportunities that come from DC come at a steep premium. See, there's this belief in...
I'm just confused. Oh, I always knew that, wait, okay, first I thought that Washington was this place only. Then I realized that Washington is also a state. But why is Washington not inside Washington? Why is it not inside a state? I don't get it. Like, my brain just doesn't comprehend this right now. It's probably something so simple, but I don't know. My brain is trying to do the work.
Washington, that the city's growing wealth and affluence have turned into higher-mindedness and outright opulence. A sentiment fueled by DC's place as the nation's most expensive housing market, with median rents in excess of $2,500. But being expensive doesn't make something luxurious, and DC's out-of-reach housing feels more like a symptom of its out-of-touch economics, as the District of Columbia is perhaps America's clearest example of being a tale of two cities, with far too many Washingtonians struggling, as even middle-class wages fall short of meeting basic living standards in a place where the median home costs $618,000, and where 70% of communities report having 30 to 90-minute one-way commutes, while nearly a third of public transit commuters ride for at least 2 hours daily.
This looks like...
One-way commutes, while nearly a third...
This? It kind of looks like Finland. Even the cars are like normal sized. Is this in America?
Third of public transit commuters ride for at least 2 hours daily. So besides the 8,300 public housing units located mostly in the 8th Ward of DC, housing for everyday residents there is unusually difficult or outright impossible. While living outside the city means lengthy commutes, even in the wealthy parts of Virginia and Maryland that border DC proper. That's why 15.1%, or nearly 1 in 6 DC residents live under the poverty line, while nearly 20%, or 1 in 5, face severe housing problems, meaning that DC has a poverty problem and a cost of living crisis. As even the city's elevated median household income of $101,000 and its $17.50 minimum wage can't keep pace with Washington's rising cost of living and increasingly limited housing stocks.
Look at the little dog! What the dog doing? It's so cute.
$1,000 and its $17.50 minimum wage can't keep pace.
$17 minimum wage is pretty wild. I know they're talking about economics. I'm just looking at the dog, but it's so cute.
With Washington's rising cost of living and increasingly limited housing stocks. In a city filled with mesmerizing architecture, incredible high-value amenities, landmarks, venues, and museums, historically important institutions, and some of the most powerful people in the entire world, that's because the true cost of Washington, D.C. goes well beyond its expensive housing. As Washington is a city for the rich, with outstanding amenities, several professional sports teams, world-class museums, and an outrageously high 25 Michelin star restaurants. Along with some of America's highest-rated universities, with Georgetown, George Washington University, Howard, and American University, not just providing an exceptionally opulent education experience, but also the kind of networking opportunities that exist with maybe a few dozen institutions worldwide. As DC is an expensive city on every basis, from the staples of transportation, food, and housing, to entertainment, goods, and services, making it a costly place even for the upper middle class and well-off families with significant means. That's how Northern Virginia and Southwestern Maryland became some of the highest income areas in the United States, with well-off commuters around the Beltway accepting lengthy drives from outside DC so that they can afford a lot more home for the money and a less hectic daily life. But what about people there who can't afford places like Bethesda, Alexandria, or Silver Springs? Students, the working class.
Silver Springs. It already sounds fancy just by judging by the name. Oh yes, I live in Silver Springs. I love it.
Even normal middle-class families. Because if you've visited the capital city, then you've probably already experienced the point I'm making here. This facade of elegance and affluence, the narrative among Washington's well-to-do that it represents ultimate prosperity. It's half-baked. Not just ignoring a third of the city that reports significant trouble making ends meet, but also the growing upper middle class spread across several outer bands of more livable areas around the DC metro. As Washington sits as a city divided between some of the nation's wealthiest and most powerful people living lavishly and the tens of thousands living in public-supported housing or worse. In a place that costs more than notoriously expensive cities like New York or San Francisco. But as Kristen Capps of Bloomberg puts it, comparing other expensive cities to DC misses the forest for the trees, as reputation and proximity to power are Washington's most valuable resources, conversely making it an inherently costly city, a place for the wealthy, but also a city with 671,000 residents, more than 2 actual US states, creating a need for almost state-level public services with a citywide governance that employs tens of thousands. Alongside the countless staples of most US cities, like 13 McDonald's and more than 100 Starbucks.
We're in Northwest DC in the prestigious Kalorama.
More than 100 Starbucks?
A neighborhood. It's close to DuPont Circle, Adams Morgan, and Georgetown. This is home to Washington's elite, the Obamas, Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner, and most recently, Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon and the owner of the Washington Post, who happens to live right here, and here, and here.
This is Washington.
Lovely to have your house on blast like that. This video was very confusing all over, guys. I don't know what to say, honestly. I didn't pick up much. I'm sorry. Just being real. But thank you guys for joining me for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a like, subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!